Hey y'all, we're Alec and Cindy Sharp, and we are sharing the journey. As most of y'all know from my other videos, Cindy and I travel the country full-time in our 2019 Tiffin open road, and we work camp our way across the country. We have received several questions in different videos, mostly in the work camping series that we are doing, about things that intimidate people, or they go, I want to get on the road, but I'm scared to because of X, Y, and Z. So I took the top 7 of those reasons. And
why are we starting at the end? Why can't it be A, B, C, D?
I'm confused.
Why's it got to be X, Y, Z? It can't be A, B, C, D.
So I listed them out, and I have kind of like a bullet points to go over because Cindy says I have a tendency to ramble. So let's get into it. So Cindy just looked at the list and said, why are we starting with financial concerns? And I said, because that's my biggest concern and was my biggest concern. And so I listed these 7 in the way I rate them, as like, holy crap, to it's not a big deal. So the first one is financial concerns, and I'm just going to read what I wrote. It says, maintaining a sustainable income while traveling can be daunting, especially if there are unexpected expenses or fluctuation of earnings. So
we've had a lot of that going on.
We've had a lot of that going on this year. But I thought first I would tell you what my goal was, like, oh, we need to have this much money before we leave. And where we are now to what we feel like we need to have to be comfortable. So before we left, I made sure that in liquid income, this is just like sitting, or liquid money, this is what's sitting in the bank account, that if I had a flat tire today, I could transfer the money, use my debit card, and the tire no longer be flat. So in 2019, I thought $5,000 was enough, and it's not. So we're at the 5-year mark with our coach, and so some of the systems are either needing additional maintenance or replaced. And I'll give you an example. You know, the way we travel is we go to jobs usually twice a year and stay 4 to 6 months, and then in between the jobs we will travel from 2 weeks to a month. We're actually, when we leave Montana this summer, we're actually taking 2 months off to go home to take care of seeing the kids, my parents, and that sort of stuff. And then, so, you know, we need to make sure we have enough money to make it through those 2 months. But so the way we camp is, you know, we open up, and the camper's open for 4 to 6 months. And with that, like, the sun's beating down on the slide toppers over the slides. Well, the sun will eventually break that material down, and that's what happened here. Is the slide topper over our living room a slide?
Well, it was a combination
well,
of that and the wind.
Was weak, and then we had a storm blow up, and it took the weakened material that's been weakened from years of baking in the sun to where it ripped, and I had to replace it. Wasn't that bad. It was $500. But still, if I didn't have the $500, I would be stressed. Then a few weeks later, the air conditioner starts making a lot of noise. Our front air conditioner is a heat pump, and to replace it was $1,744. Now, luckily we have, I don't know if it's luckily because it was expensive, but we have a warranty, an extended warranty on the coach, and it covered that. But that would have been $1,700 plus out of our pocket. Our son passed away this year, and he was single, did not have any life insurance. Well, it was almost $9,000 plus the trip home to bury him that was unexpected. And there's just a bunch of stuff. There's other stuff like the Jeep needed fixed. Our dog passed away. It was $1,000 worth of vet bills. So you have to have money. So right now, we try to have between $10,000 and $15,000.
Well, our goal, when we realized $5,000 wasn't enough, we decided $10,000. So then we had reached that. Well, now we've had all these unexpected expenses come up. So now we've decided 15.
And luckily, we had decided when we got here that, oh, we're going to be needing tires in a year or so. So let's go ahead and put the tire money in on top of the 10,000. So we were close to 12 when all this stuff happened. And so I'm glad we were. So don't let the money be a hindrance from you going full time, but just make sure that you're prepared, because stuff does still happen to you on the road. And now you've got an RV, which really I think does require more maintenance than a house, but the maintenance doesn't cost as much. But we just found out yesterday we got to have work done on our generator because it won't stay running. You know, we're a month away from leaving, so I started testing our systems, and now I found something else we need to fix.
Well, and like we were sitting at home talking, a lot of this stuff is, in my opinion, would fall under the general maintenance category. Your air conditioners are only going to last so long. Your appliances are only going to last so long. All these things are going to eventually have to be replaced.
You just need to make sure.
Even if you were in a house, they would have to be replaced. So you just have to make sure you're continuously saving. So when one of these expenses pops up, it's not unexpected and you're not all of a sudden panicking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get it fixed?
And the other half of that is sustainable income or fluctuating income. Our first work camping job, because we retired at 50, I was a cop. I do have a small pension from a Southern Police Department, but we have to work on the road. We started out with Southeast Publications, which was a commission-based great company. If you don't need to make sure you've got X number of dollars coming in every week, it's a great company. You move fast, a lot of gas involved, but we found that if we work camp, we know during the season, you know, if we take a 32 an hour a week job, or we take a 24 hour a week job, or our last few jobs have been 40-hour a week jobs, we can then project a budget so we can include savings in that. So it's very doable if you have to work and you have to keep income coming in. It's very, very doable.
Right. And at least you know prior to getting somewhere how much an hour you're going to make and that sort of thing. You know, you can plan all that out.
Right. So the next one on the list is uncertainty. And I put living on the road means constantly adapting to new environments and challenges, which can be unsettling for those who prefer stability. So I'm one of these people that I don't do well with change. Like, I know we're leaving in 3 weeks or 4 weeks from here and going 2,000 miles to Montana. And I already know there's some things that needs to be fixed on the coach. I'm already starting to fret over that, and Cindy has to calm me down, and she can see. And so with us is Cindy's the calm before the storm, and I'm the storm. No, but she gets more anxious when we're traveling. I get more anxious before we start to travel. And she just gave me a good example. We were discussing how we're going to tell you all this. So we took a job in California, in Minnesota while we were in California. And they needed us to come in February. When were we really going to go? April?
Well, we were supposed to be there.
We were supposed
Yeah,
to
we
be,
were supposed to be there in April.
and they needed us to come early.
And we got there mid-February.
And there's snow. We're from South Carolina. We don't do snow. And we had to change. We went down and said, okay, we'll take 40. We'll take the most southern route to go north. So we dropped down out of Santa Cruz, really Jenkinsville or Watkinsville. And we dropped down, we went south to go north to 40, and we were going to go across 40 and then cut up.
But we were watching the news, you know, best laid plans, right? You got to be adaptable. Best laid plans. You can plan your route all you want to. Something's going to end up happening and changing it. And you have to be willing to do that and to listen to your gut feeling. If you get a gut feeling that something's coming up, and I'll give you another example of that, just go with your gut and take a safer route. Even if it's going to be a little bit longer out of your way, trust me, it will be worth not having the added stress to do so. So when we were leaving California this particular year, all of a sudden there was supposed to be a trucker convoy.
Right.
And they were going to be on 40.
And they were talking about the roads were going to be shut down. There were going to be police everywhere. Don't travel 40 if you don't need to. So we changed and decided, okay, we're going to outsmart the truckers. We're going to go on 70. So we headed back up and started across 70. They closed the pass to get across the Continental Divide because...
Well, it started snowing on us.
Because of snow, they closed the pass.
Right, but we had to stop before then because it started snowing on us, and it was getting towards the end of the day, and we didn't want to get stuck somewhere. So we had two choices. We could either stop at a rest area.
Yes.
Or we could go to a truck stop. We went to pull into the rest area. There was a lot of snow on the ground. And guess what? They're not going to plow.
The rest area.
The rest area. So, unless the truckers, and there weren't very many truckers in that rest area, unless they were going to pave the way for us to get out, we knew we were going to get in bad shape. So we decided to continue on and go to a truck stop.
Yep, a Love's. Which
was very smart. And it did snow on us.
And we parked up front, so we didn't take any spots from the truckers.
And we went in, asked for permission and everything. And so it did make it easier for us to get back out onto the interstate because we decided to do that. But the route we were going to take, they were closing that pass. So then we had to change routes again.
And went up to 80. And we made it to a Walmart that night on 80. And we pulled into the Walmart. Now the Walmart was down in not a holler because we weren't in West Virginia, but down in a lower part of the valley. And I go inside because...
I wish I could remember that town. I can't remember it though.
But we go inside and I meet a trucker while we're inside the Walmart. I'm getting some water because we had not yet learned how to keep our pipes from freezing. And I knew we would need water for coffee and stuff in the morning. So I went in and got water and was talking to a trucker, telling him what we were doing. And I said, we were headed to Minnesota. He goes, well, you realize there's a storm coming up behind us. I said, yeah. He goes, well, you're going to have trouble. He says, I'm leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm headed the same direction.
I'm headed the same way. We've got to get over whatever that pass was.
Elk Mountain.
Elk Mountain. If we don't get over Elk Mountain before 11 or something, then we're going to be stuck for up to a week, and that's no fun. And so, like, I set my alarm clock for 5 o'clock. I didn't sleep at all. He waited for me. We got on the road. We followed in his tire tracks, and we followed him, nicest guy, all the way over Elk Mountain. The rest of the trip was smooth sailing.
Well, what was really, I say funny now, it wasn't funny then, but so we made it through Elk Mountain and to the Walmart. And of course we were so stressed out by this point till we were like, we're stopping for the night. So we parked in that Walmart parking lot, and the next morning Alec went in to get some more water, and the lady said, the cashier asked him, said, "Are y'all in that RV out there?" Alec said, "Yes." She said, "Which direction are y'all going?" And Alec told her, and she goes, "Oh, good, because they just closed the pass this morning. You
Behind
wouldn't be
you,
going
we wouldn't
anywhere."
be going anywhere. So, and then this season, we're on the Gulf Coast, and we're in Rockport, Texas. The wind never stops blowing here, and it's actually
been driving us crazy.
Been driving me crazy, because you go outside, like, that's why we're filming inside the Jeep. We came down to the harbor down here, and we were going to film at a picnic table. It's just too windy to film. And so, you know, you go places and you learn, like we're in Minnesota, we learned how to camp 2 winters in the snow. And do you want to do that again, Cindy?
No, absolutely not.
So we know
I hope I never need those hats and scarves.
Right. But we know that the uncertainty is now a certainty, because we've done it. We know we don't want to do it. We're really not sure about coming back down to the Gulf of Texas, which is beautiful. It'd be great if we were here for 3 weeks or a month.
Yeah.
But do I want to spend, we actually, because the other job we came from, because of the snow in Montana, is such a short season, that we've actually will have been here for almost 7 months.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy, and it's a long time. And so, you know, we're up in the air whether we want to do this again. So as you do it longer, you become more certain about what you want to do and don't want to do. So don't let uncertainty keep you from living the lifestyle. Just know that you're going to learn from your adventures. So number 3 I've got is isolation. I've had several people say, "Oh, I miss my grandchildren. I feel so isolated from my family and friends." So I put spending extended periods away from family and friends can lead to feelings of loneliness or isolation, which we have not felt, particularly if social connections are limited while on the road. There's several ways to fight that. Is, yeah, when we were going and moving every 2 weeks, we didn't meet anybody. It was just me and you and the road, and it was too quick. But we have found that when we go somewhere and we stay a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then move on, then we have an opportunity to meet locals that we hang out with. That, like when we were in Big Chief RV Park in Burnett, we still talk to a lot of the people from there. We were there for 3.5 or 4 months.
And we keep up with them on Facebook and social media, instant message, that sort of thing. In fact, there's a couple we worked with in Burnett, Texas.
They're meeting us for dinner tonight
in Rockport, and they don't live far from here, but they're coming down here to go fishing,
and
which
to
is
the
what
Oyster
everybody
Fest.
does. But so they're coming here, and we're going to meet up with them for dinner, so we're going to get to see them again. So
I'll say work camping is a good way to keep from being isolated, because you meet people that you work with. You have that connection. You communicate with them even when you're not working with them. Like we had a couple that left, and we've already talked to them, texted with them twice, and they've been gone for only 3 days. And so, you know, you meet people and you stay in communication with them, and it's really not that lonely. And if you're talking about friends and family from back home, there's Facebook, there's FaceTime, there's Skype. There's stuff that we didn't have 10 or 15 years ago, or if we did, I didn't understand them.
So a lot of people will plan their jobs around going to visit family. I know one year we
went to Point South KOA.
And we worked there for a season. It was only about an hour or two from his parents and from our kids. And so that's how a lot of people do it. They'll go play and go wherever they want to go during the spring, summer, fall, and then they come home for the holidays, basically.
Right. So that's easily worked around.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and I'll tell you, like I told one of my kids, my oldest son got very angry because I took his free babysitter away from him. He had 4 kids, and I took his emergency fund, which was my checkbook, with me when we left. And I told him, you know, I spent the first 20 years, we had a man in Florida tell us this, and so I'm stealing it from him. But I spent the first 20 years of my life making my parents happy. And then for our kids, we spent the next 32 years of our life taking care of the 6 of them and making them happy. And I'll be damned if the last 20 years aren't ours for us to be happy. And so, I mean, that's easily rectified. And I think that's...
Well, I mean, you know, you can just do everything. I mean, you can do the work camping, the traveling, the seeing the world, you know, and then you can also spend time with your family. It's all scheduling.
Right. And
logistics.
So next I've got on here is number 4, and I've gotten a lot of questions, more than I thought I would, about this, but safety. Concerns about safety and security both on the road and at campsites can be heightened for some individuals. All right, so I put down 3 examples in 5 years. Not even this really happened to us. Well, it was really more than 5 years. It's more like 9 years. So we have some friends, Robin and Steve, they full-time. They live in a motorhome and they travel. She's a work nurse, does nurse camping, or used to travel nursing. And they were going through Las Vegas, I think it was, and they stopped at a gas station, and he didn't lock the coach. And she went in the store, and he went and pumped gas, and a homeless guy, when they came back in, there was a homeless guy laying in their bed. So,
oh wow, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
Wow.
And so that's scary. They threw him out, and they learned, lock your rig. Take typical, normal safety things you would do at home. You don't leave your house unlocked. Well, we did. But people normally don't leave their houses unlocked. And then I've got another example is... so we used to have a pop-up. We had 6 kids, so 9 of us. Our 6 kids, Cindy and I, and Cindy's mother who lived with us. We camped a week almost every month because of my job. That's the way my schedule fell. In our pop-up. And we were at Lake Ray Roberts. Now, the little tiny little apartment-sized refrigerators in those things don't hold enough food for 9 people. So we had a big cooler that we kept outside and kept ice on it. Well, we were at Lake Ray Roberts on the other side, on the west side, I guess, of Dallas, visiting Cindy's sister, who lived in Plano at the time. And someone stole our cooler with all our food in it. So what do? You put it in the back of the truck or the car and lock it up. Be smart. And then the last thing is I put Walmart in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah. About
3 years ago, we were sleeping in Walmart parking lot. Cindy read the reviews. They were okay. I was tired. I was ready to quit driving. Okay was good enough for me. Usually we go for a little bit higher standards. We're in the coach at 10 o'clock at night. Bang, bang, bang. It's evidently Section 8 apartment complex next door. And we heard some gunshots. We didn't see anybody. We didn't hear any police. We just heard what we assumed, my 26 years of law enforcement and experience, were gunshots. We didn't freak out. We just cranked up the motorhome and left. And Cindy found us another spot 7 or 10 miles up the road. We stayed at a Cracker Barrel, had a good breakfast. So, yes, things happen. things happen at your house.
I was about to say, things happen anywhere. So it doesn't matter where you are. Things happen. Things are going to happen. Just be smart about it. Just like you would do general safety in your town where you live or your house, or
Yes.
treat this the same way.
So that's not really a reason to keep yourself off the road. So number 5 on the list is logistical challenges. And the questions I've had about finding suitable campsites, managing RV maintenance, and navigating unfamiliar roads. So I don't have to worry about finding suitable campsites because I've got Cindy. Cindy takes care of all that. But she uses, when we're traveling, she uses an app called Allstays primarily, and it's pretty easy to use.
I like it. Some other people use other things, but I just stick with that. I've heard a lot of people use 2 or 3 different things. I find it easier just to use that. It's pretty reliable. And I would think more people would be worried about trying to find a gas station. But I use it to find campsites, to find gas stations, a whole host of things. I can look at images, I can look at reviews, I can look at it on a map and see just how far off of the highway the campground is.
It's like if it's a Walmart, it says, you know, spoke with the manager, last person who logged there was 3 months ago. Manager said park up by the Hardee's restaurant.
Right.
or no longer allowed to stay at this location. If it's a gas station, you know, say stay away from pump 7. There's a tree. It makes it impossible for medium to large size rigs. So that Allstays is an app. I think they also have now a computer version, but when we downloaded it was for Apple products only. So we've got an Apple tablet Cindy uses, and we use that. It makes it really easy, and most, like, we stay at a lot of KOAs. You just go to the KOA app and find the KOA. You can
Or I have a directory.
Or we have a paper directory. But you just say, like, oh, I'm just staying for the night. You can book it as you're traveling. You can book the type of site you want. A lot of we've worked at private campgrounds, like in Minnesota. They all allow you to do
online.
online.
Allstays, it even shows you where there's state parks or
Free camping.
along your route, dispersed camping, free camping. There may be a park or something that allows you, that has 2 or 3 campsites. It's a first come, first serve. If even if it's just a water and electric site, or even if it's just a parking space.
Right, like we've stayed,
if it's free for the night and there's nobody there, why not?
Like Mississippi, they have, is it Mississippi? I think it's Mississippi. We stayed in the rest areas. Some of the rest areas even have RV parking only, and they have, I'm just looking out the back window, there's 2 dolphin in the channel.
Oh, wow.
And they have security, which is great. So that worked fine. Next part of that is RV maintenance. You know, every month, I know I crank the generator, crank the engine to the RV. That's just a normal thing. Every other month, I put T9 lubricant on the stairs and the awning and that sort of stuff. So you just get in a routine, not a big deal. And the last part of that is navigating unfamiliar roads. I bought a truck/RV GPS, and in there it has a screen that you can just put in your dimensions. We're 35 feet 3 inches. We tow a X length car. We are 13 feet 4 inches tall. You put all that in it, and then it routes you around hazards most of the time.
Yeah.
So,
and also on Allstays, when we're doing a route, I can check if there's a bridge coming up or whatever. I can check and see what the height of it is.
So
that kind of stuff. Construction.
Not a big deal. So don't let that worry you. So number 6 on the list is healthcare, which I don't understand either, but access to health services.
Well, that's because we just don't have issues with it. That's why.
Right. Access to health services and resources can be limited while traveling, which may worry people with ongoing medical needs. We're the fattest, healthiest people, you know. We're not on any medicines. We don't have any medical problems. We've worked with a lot of people that do. We worked with this one guy 2 years ago that had heart issues, and they just had to schedule a trip, I think every 18 months back home so he could get his medications renewed. They use Walgreens, which is a nationwide company, and they just go to Walgreens and they can just move the prescription from Walgreens to Walgreens as they
wherever
travel.
they're going to be.
Now, we're in the little...
But they do have to schedule a time, and we've got friends that do this too. They work a season, they schedule their doctor's appointments to go back home to the area
see family,
where they
friends,
were.
and doctors.
Right, and they just schedule it and get everything taken care of, and then that way they can renew any medications or anything that they're on.
It hasn't been an issue for us. Now, some people do say, one of the questions was, what about health care? Well, you know,
we're fortunate.
We're fortunate. I've got my insurance through my retirement program until we turn 65. And so that's not a problem. We've met people that they use Florida as their domicile. And so they use the Obamacare or whatever it's called.
I don't know what it's called.
And so they just use it out of Florida, and then it's good wherever their network lets them go. So you just need to check with whoever you have your health insurance with now and see if it can continue. If not, go to a broker or the government site.
Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of information on that because we have never had to do it or deal with it.
For us. And then the very last, it says comfort zone, number 7. Is people go, oh, that's out of my comfort zone. I can't do that. I don't feel comfortable. But stepping out of one's comfort zone to embrace a nomadic lifestyle requires a significant mindset shift for I write better than I talk. Shift for many people accustomed to a more traditional way of life. There's nothing traditional about this lifestyle. But we have found that even when we've got problems we're dealing with, like the generator, there's so much less to go wrong and to deal with that we have found this lifestyle has offered us a newfound peace. Would you say peace is a good word?
Well, I just don't think you get as stressed out about things as much as you used to. I've always been more of a free spirit.
I'm more of a worrier.
I've always been last minute.
So I would say that there...
Well, let me just finish.
Okay.
I've always been a fly by the seat of my pants kind of person, a free spirit, take it as it comes, constantly changing. But I think that kind of came from having 6 children, schedules changing at an instant, somebody having to go here or there, or, you know, it was fluid. He was always working, making money for the house, and I was carting everybody around trying to get them from one sporting event to another. And
homeschooling.
You know, so life was just very chaotic. I used to call it constant chaos.
Yeah. So I thought real quick we'll step out of the car, so if you hear a lot of wind noise, but I want to show you the beautiful views and stuff that when we get stressed we can just come down and sit on a picnic table and look at this. So this is the harbor that is 5 minutes from the campground.
Yeah. Rockport Beach is just over there.
So anyway, don't let your fears keep you from enjoying your life. We hope to see you on the road. Till next time, you have a good one. Be safe.